Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Western Alliance Era 2 Tech Tree Heavy Tank, the FV214 Conqueror Mk.1. Now this is the tank that comes directly after the Centurion 9 and is obviously leading on towards the Challenger 2 line. And it's a tank that's actually pretty damn good. I actually have very much enjoyed this Conqueror experience. So this first replay is fully upgraded, I think, and the second replay is definitely not fully upgraded. I still need a few upgrades for that, and you'll see it's like 40,000 off of something anyway. But yeah, it's not very much upgraded on the second replay. But yeah, this tank, I came into it thinking this tank's going to be horrible. The Centurion 9, I hated it. I hated the Centurion 9. I really did not enjoy the tank. I just felt extremely underwhelming in most situations. And I felt like I was cannon fodder for most of the tanks that were... well, basically most of the tanks I was going to face. This tank, well, yeah, okay, the armor's not that good. You might be thinking, a Conqueror armor, not that good. Now, well, it bounces the odd shot here and there when you hull down, stuff like that. But for the most part, it gets shredded. If you're in the open, you get shredded. Your upper plate, your lower plate, your turret front, yeah, your armor doesn't stand up to too much punishment. But the one thing that this tank has is a fantastic gun. This gun is phenomenal. Does not even need vertical stabilizers. It's like that good. You know, the gun is phenomenal. You've got 408 pen on the standard APFS DS, or APDS, actually, I think it is on this tank. Actually, look at it. You just got to look at the bottom corner. Yeah, APDS. And then you've got premium APDS, which is 452 penetration, which is sound. You're going to pen most things you're going to face with that. You're only really not going to... Well, the only thing you're going to struggle with is a 4-2-1-1. And in that, you're not going to absolutely butcher the upper plate, basically, by having 500 pen, sorry. But apart from that, the penetration is good enough. You'll pen pretty much everything you're going to face, which is glorious. And then you've got 260 hash pen as well. 260 hash pen for 660 alpha? It's just so dirty. It's so good. The other thing that this tank has is something you might not associate with the Conqueror, if you're thinking World War II-esque, right, is actually the fact that its mobility is pretty solid. So, it gets a 51 km/h top speed, which means if you put a traction system on it, like I have, you get 56 km/h top speed, which means you're on, like, almost the slower end of being a medium tank with your top speed, which is glorious. It means you get about the battlefield really, really well. And you actually go a little bit, well, you go, what, just a little bit slower or just a little bit quicker than a Centurion. In fact, the Centurion 64 km/h, so forget that. But you know, you're not much slower. It's not like the Conqueror Mark II, for example, which only goes at 43 km/h, which is pretty damn slow and is a bit of a pain. If you want the traction system on this, 56 km/h is great. Now, this tank does have a pretty poor reputation because a lot of people ground it out way back when the Challenger 2 line came out. And this tank was horrific back then because the gun didn't have the love that it has now. So this gun actually has 510 alpha on its standard APFS DS or APDS, like whatever, on its standard rounds. It has 510 alpha, whereas when it first came out, much like the Conqueror Mark II, it had only 400 pen. 400 pen. God damn, English is hard. It only had 400 damage. There we go, we got there in the end. 400 damage, which was exceptionally weak for Era 2, and for that, you know, for mid-Era 2 as well. But that 510 alpha buff that it got is glorious. And honestly, as you've seen in the first game, 2 kills, 8.6k damage, 1800 assistance, the ace tank at the high caliber, and the 1712 base XP, a really nice game for the Conqueror. This tank just does really solidly well. The gun handling, like I say, is fantastic. The mobility is pretty damn solid. You don't have the best armour in the universe. You do get penned quite easily by most tanks in the era. But if you're on a ridgeline, hull down, you can ricochet shots off your turret. As long as they don't just hit the flat of your gun mantlet, for the most part, you can ricochet shots. The tank is really damn useful, and you can do quite a lot with it. And it's not one that you should discount. Like I say, I've thoroughly enjoyed playing this tank. The gun handling is fantastic, mobility is nice, and just the hesh as well is a glorious, glorious thing that you need to abuse. So, what do I run on this tank in terms of a crew on the Conqueror Mark 1? Well, on the Conqueror Mark 1, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Trap Mechanic, Armour Angling, Steady Aim, Clutch Braking, Rapid Aim, Run and Gun. Rapid Aim to make the track traverse better, to make it as good as it can be. Clutch Braking to make the track traverse even nicer, and just to make it feel a little bit more mobile, really. Armour Angling because, well, heavy tank things, and I'd like to reduce the amount of damage I'm taking. Steady Aim and Run and Gun to make the gun 10% better, and to make the accuracy 10% better on the move. Because we aren't going to use vertical stabilizers, so if I can help it out with that, that's what I'm going to do. And in terms of equipment, I run the advanced loader, the traction system, and the advanced reload. So the advanced loader to make my DPM 10% better, which is something you always kind of want to do. The traction system to make myself go at, well, just to make myself faster, so I can get to 56 kilometers an hour top speed, which you do hit. And then also the advanced reload, so I can switch to these filthy heat rounds. Oh my goodness me, we're making mistakes everywhere today. Hash rounds, the filthy, filthy hash rounds, so that you can hit people for 660, which you cannot underrate the hash. The hash is so good. Like, especially you've already seen a shot that we put into the BMP a minute ago. 674, I think the roll was. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Nice ram. And, you want to be able to have the ammo swapper to be able to abuse it. And you're seeing the gun handling as well. Like, how good the gun handling is on this tank. We're only taking steady aim and run and gun to help the gun handling. We're not taking vertical stabilizers or anything like that. And the gun is still absolutely fabulous. I've thoroughly enjoyed this tech tree grind. And I'm kind of not looking forward to moving on to the Chieftain Mark 5, if I'm honest. Because I've really enjoyed the Conqueror. It is a world above the Conqueror Mark 2, by the way, because the Conqueror Mark 2 is slower and the gun just doesn't handle anywhere. It doesn't feel like it handles anywhere near as well as this tank does. So, as a premium tank, it is far worse than the Conqueror, I feel, like, personally. But, yeah. So, this second game, we are on this map, which is Severogorsk. We're up to 3.7k damage so far. And I'm trying to basically push in and get towards the tanks that are now situated in front of us, like you're seeing, and trying to get towards the corner, like G78, so that I can try and push the tempo in that area, try and hem them in, and while they're sort of trapped in that location because of my team. So we've got a Hesh round going in. We don't need the Hesh round, so we switch back to APDS, but we don't get a chance to fire the weapon at the RDFLT because, well, he just ended up getting done in. So now we're going to use the mobility to try and get ourselves, once again, into the position at H8. And yeah, that's the other thing, by the way. This tank does have a hero skin, which you've already seen in the first replay. It does cost about 3,000 gold, which is a lot. But it makes the tank look really cool. I kind of wish the World War II Conqueror also had the skin, because it does look sick. But okay, we've got to this position at the corner, which is exactly where we want to be. We get a nice shot there into the back of the Mk.I, sets him on fire. The 4211 comes around, so we put a shot straight through his drive wheel, tracks him in place, because, well, if we track him in place and our friends actually pen it, we might get a ton of assistance. We end up trying to get the tracking shot in again, but unfortunately he ended up just getting away. He ends up damaging our ammo rack, but we use a repair kit, which puts our tracks and our ammo rack back in, and now we've got this guy tracked. We're just hoping to keep penning him straight through that drive wheel, because that is where you want to be able to pen our 4211. We all fire in the premium as well, which makes it a bit easier. Track him once again straight through that drive wheel. I'm just hoping for someone to shoot him so I can get some assistance, but it's not quite happening. I think he's backing up, so we try and get a shot through the side there, which is, well, we can't see where we actually managed to hit in the smoke there. But unfortunately we ended up bouncing. We get a shot into the Enigma, and then the 4211 gets spotted. He was actually a one-shot. We get another shot there into the Enigma, who is sideways on, so we're not going to be able to, well, he's not really going to be troubling him. Maybe we can get the kill on that TR-85, which managed to get in. I looked and saw him and went, oh my god, this is a kill. Let's get the gun out of the game. We shut him down, and then we shut down the T-55 Enigma, and we finished the game with a really nice total for the Era 2 Tech Tree Heavy Tank, the Conqueror Mark 1. 5 kills, 10,274 damage, 249 assistance. The Ace Tanker, the High Caliber, the Sniper, and 1,863 base XP. A really, really nice game for the Conqueror. Absolutely solid tank. It's really quite good to play while you're grinding through this line. It's nice to have something that is... That's the one thing I've liked about this British line so far, is that every tank has been different as opposed to just being one of the same tank all the way through. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success.